Why are Manchester United wingers failing? Why are Manchester United spending over £150 million on two wingers like Jadon Sancho and Antony, and they're still not doing well in the Premier League? Jadon Sancho is currently in his third season at Manchester United, and he hasn't even given us 25% of what we saw from him at Borussia Dortmund. There is an argument that Jadon Sancho would be suited to a team that plays more of a possession-based system like Manchester City, and I cannot get behind that at all. That is a complete myth. When he was at Borussia Dortmund, they were a massive counter-attacking team, they were a massive counter-pressing team, and if you take a look at most of his goals and assists, and a lot of them were with Haaland, it was both of them running in behind. So that is mythical, okay? That just isn't true. That is not the reason why Jadon Sancho has so far failed at Manchester United. Now, if we flash back to last season, Jadon Sancho was sent away to Holland by Erik ten Hag to train on his own. Now, the public reasons that Erik ten Hag stated for that is that he just wasn't fit. It does lead me to believe what Erik ten Hag was saying is correct, because he doesn't look fit in games, he doesn't put in the most energy, he isn't great in the press, he doesn't seem to have any speed about him unless he actually wants to run. Now, if we think of what a Manchester United winger is by trade, it's fast, direct, being able to get in behind, score goals and cross the ball. Jadon Sancho and Antony are none of those. And it comes down to Manchester United being able to profile transfers correctly for the squad they have. And not just the squad, actually for the league. Because now we find ourselves in a situation where Jadon Sancho is being tried all over the pitch. He's played right wing, he's played left wing, he's played as an 8, he's played as a 10, and even in pre-season, and more than likely this weekend, he's going to play as a false 9. So he's fallen into that category of that Paul Pogba was in, where we just couldn't find his best position. Now, notably, when Jadon Sancho is playing on the left wing, he spends too long thinking about what he actually needs to do, and eventually, if he's out on the wing in the attacking third, he won't drive to the byline, he will pass the ball backwards or pass it inside into midfield. He'll do a few body feints, he'll do a few ball rolls to try and test the defender he's up against, but he won't try and beat them. He won't try and beat them nearly as much as he should, nearly as much as other wingers are doing in the Premier League. And he shares that same problem with Antony. Where Jadon Sancho is on the right wing, he has to think less. He doesn't need to worry about cutting in and shooting. He's much more direct, he actually crosses the ball. But the problem is, Antony is Erik ten Hag's love child. And he cannot be dropped, he cannot be replaced by anyone. So Jadon Sancho finds himself in a situation where his only option is to play left wing, which he isn't going to do because Marcus Rashford is going to play there. Or he has to play down the middle, which he isn't going to do because he's not as good as Bruno Fernandes. And we're looking at signing centre forwards. You know, we've already got Hodgland, and inevitably we will sign another one. So then Manchester United are left with a squad player, a utility player, doesn't have a good work rate, isn't offering us much in regards to goals or to assists, for over £75 million, over £300,000 being paid a week in salary. It's a bad move by Manchester United. If you look at the wingers in the Premier League over the years, and especially over the most recent years, like Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, Riyad Mahrez, even Bertrand Traore, Marcus Rashford, Eden Hazard, they all share the same abilities that they can contribute in goals and assists, they can beat their fullbacks, and they can drive to the byline very well. The best example at the moment is Martinelli and Bukayo Saka. They're two-way wingers. They can beat the fullback, they can get to the byline, they can cross the ball into their centre forward. And when I mean cross the ball for the byline, I don't mean aerial balls, because obviously Manchester United, we don't really have much aerial threat. I mean crosses on the ground or crosses at knee height. That's how most teams are scoring their goals nowadays. But if you have two-way wingers, like Bukayo Saka and Martinelli, they can also cut in, like Rashford, and take a shot on. We don't have that with Sancho and Antony. They just aren't that effective. Now, last season in the Premier League, Antony had 72 shots, and he scored 4 goals. Now, taking a lot of volume of shots isn't that big of a problem. The problem is when that volume of shots have such low quality. Now, if we talk about XG, expected goals, that's the best way of measuring shot quality. If we take a look at the statistic here, a lot of these shots are from outside of the box. It is factually harder to score a goal the further you are away. If you look at the best teams in the Premier League right now, which is Manchester City and Arsenal, almost all of their goals are scored inside the box or just on the 25-yard line. The only difference between Antony and Sancho right now is Antony offers a lot more in work rate and being able to retain the ball, which is probably why Erik ten Hag favours him over Jadon Sancho, not just because he's a City signing from Ajax. You know, if we look at the Spurs game, Antony won 6 duels, and a few of those opportunities where he did win the ball converted into an attacking situation for him or Marcus Rashford. So it really does beg the question, were these the right signings for Manchester United? Are they offering enough for Manchester United? The answer is absolutely not. Now, if you are not a pace and power winger like Antony and Jadon Sancho, they aren't electric fast, they don't have much power, they're not able to shoulder off fullbacks like other wingers are in the Premier League, like Marcus Rashford, like Mo Salah, like Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling is incredibly strong. He's got an absolutely monstrous core body weight and he has great balance where he can hold off defenders. Now, if you don't have that, you have to be very good at dribbling and being able to distract the opposition fullback or centre back to be able to get to the byline to cross the ball back. Now, the best example of this is Manchester City. They have wingers who aren't regarded as P&P wingers, pace and power. And one of the best examples is actually Jack Grealish. Jack Grealish is obviously a very good dribbler of the ball. What Jack Grealish focuses on is when he's faced up against his defender, he's in that position ready. If he knows that he can't cut in and take a shot or get a cross off, he'll do everything to get to that byline. Because if you can get to that byline, what that enables to happen is your other players understand they need to get into the box. So if your centre forward is going to be in the box, your attacking midfielders, your number 8s, your number 10s who are making those third man runs, as soon as they see you get into the byline, they know, okay, I need to get into the box. I've got a cross coming. Now, if we look at Manchester United against Spurs, the best example of this was actually Pellistri when he got subbed on, who barely has played any minutes for Manchester United. And he's only started one game. Within those 10 minutes that he was on the field, he was attacking the byline, beating fullbacks and trying to cross the ball into our attackers. Now, the problem is our other attackers aren't really used to our wingers doing that, so they weren't even aware that he was going to beat that fullback. Manchester United needs to be signing wingers like that because that is what a Premier League winger is. They've got pace, they've got power, they can beat a fullback. Now, if you're able to sign a two-way winger like Marcus Rashford, like Bukayo Saka, like Martinelli, that's the creme de la creme. You've got yourself a perfect monster for the Premier League. You can beat a man and you can cut in and shoot. Now, if you ask me, the best way to get anything out of Jadon Sancho is playing him on the right wing, which Erik ten Hag isn't going to do because he likes Antony. So if Antony is playing on the right wing, he needs a different fullback to help him. Now, if we look at our fullbacks, we've got Dalot, who is playing more inverted when he is playing, but Aaron Wan-Bissaka isn't a massive overlapping fullback. His crossing isn't as consistent as some of the fullbacks in the Premier League. Wan-Bissaka can beat players, he's a good dribbler of the ball, but his consistency of being able to bomb past and cross the ball in isn't good enough. If Antony is to succeed at Manchester United, we need to sign a new fullback. Now, signing a new fullback, in my opinion, is always on the agenda anyway. We definitely need one of those. But it's whether we do that to get the best out of Antony, or we do that just to help the team and start a different winger. I do believe the likes of Pellistri should be getting an opportunity because if it carries on with Antony and Jadon Sancho not offering us much, you have to make a change eventually. Thank you very much for watching. If you've made it this far, please drop in the comments what your thoughts are on Jadon Sancho and Antony. Should we be giving the academy players an opportunity or should we be looking to sell them in the near future? Obviously that's going to be difficult because of Sancho's wages and we've only just recently signed Antony. But it's something I can only imagine that they will be thinking about eventually. As always, thank you for watching. Subscribe, like the video, comment, share with your friends. Really does help me out.